Hi, good morning. I'm a little nervous this morning because I had this download of some videos I have to create, and I was filled with such inspiration and excitement. I jumped out of bed and I jumped in the shower and I just did my makeup and I got dressed and set up, and now here I'm filming it, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is a little nerve-wracking because I tend to just get the divine download and leap, and it can be scary, and it should be a little bit, right, scary and exciting. But I am excited to be here today, and I am excited to do this filming and start really taking advantage of my YouTube channel, because I've had it, but I don't really do much with it. And you know, the whole point of being a light worker is to spread light. So hopefully anyone who's watching this, thank you. I'm so grateful for you to be here just watching this. You don't have to comment. You don't have to reach out. You don't have to do any of that. Just the fact that you're watching this, I'm so grateful. The point of being a light worker is to spread the light, right? So let's spread some light. I wanted to talk briefly about healing and why a lot of people avoid it. And, you know, I say that and you might be thinking, oh, no, everybody seems to be working out or eating healthy or, you know, going to a psychiatrist or something or a therapist, and true. But as far as really doing the deep inner work, even for those of us who don't work out, we can avoid it at first really easily, especially if you're used to living a life of, you know, doubt, worry, lack. We get stuck in a comfort zone of not having enough, not feeling good enough. And the idea of changing, while you might be like, well, yeah, I want to have more money. Of course I do. That's just silly. Your ego is kind of like, whoa, but if we do this, if we take a step here and go there and do this, that could change everything. You know, no, you're not good enough. You shouldn't try that. You need to stay the same and just hope it gets better. The ego is like terrified of anything new and it's trying to protect you, sure. But when you really start to do deep inner emotional healing the limiting thoughts that you're not good enough, healing trauma, healing just any kind of pain, shifting away out of those emotions that you've carried around for so long, the ego's going to try and talk you out of it, because it's like death to the ego, right? The ego needs to keep you safe. Like, it needs to worry about this stuff. It needs to keep you small. And I'm not saying hate your ego. Love your ego, because it's part of you. It's part of being human. It's part of having a human experience that you're having right now. But I am saying you can get around it, get away from it, shift it. And you just have to do the work. You have to force yourself through the fear. It's almost like when you have a really bad habit, or maybe maybe a better example would be you're in a relationship with someone who you're not happy with, and your parents and all your friends love them. And they're like, oh, they're so good for you. They're just amazing. And you're just like, yeah, but I'm not happy. And you start thinking things like, well, maybe I'll stay. Then I don't want to be alone. You know, when they're good, blah, 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 blah. And you start making excuses why you should stay. That's what the ego does. It'll make excuses for you. Why you shouldn't meditate, why you shouldn't journal, why you shouldn't go get a massage, why you shouldn't give yourself time to go work out, why you shouldn't drink more water. It'll start saying things like, well, shouldn't you go do this instead? Don't you have to do that? Shouldn't you sit on your cell phone and scroll through Facebook mindlessly for 20 minutes? Shouldn't, you know, it'll start doing everything to distract you. Meditation. Oh, shouldn't you check the time? What time is it? That's one that happens to me all the time. Shouldn't you get a glass of water? Don't you have to pee? Like, don't you have to check on the kids? Shouldn't you watch this first? Shouldn't you read that? You get it. So eventually you do get to a point where you're like, enough is enough. I'm going to leave that relationship because I'm not happy. Or I'm going to start making an effort because I'm not happy. Eventually you get pushed to that point, but you don't have to wait till then. You just have to say, thank you, ego. I appreciate you trying to distract me. I appreciate you telling me I got to check the time. I'll check it when I'm done. Thank you. I'm good. and just let it go, and try not to get frustrated with it. Just be like, all right, thank you. And like, it's like having a little kid. You're just like, thank you. I know, I'm good. Thank you. When I do meditations, my ego always wants me to check the time. How long have you been meditating? Well, maybe you should check and see what time it is. Let's see how long it is. It's always trying to get me to open my eyes and do that. And I literally am just, it doesn't matter what time it is. It doesn't matter how long it's been. We're fine. It's all right. Thank you. We're good. And it works. Eventually the ego's like, fine. Do it, see what happens. And you're just like, yeah, I will, because it'll be good. And then you're able to be in a more meditative state of peace. But getting back to talking about doing the deep, healing, once you get past that ego and you really start doing this work, obviously you're able to shift and let go of so much deep stuff that you're carrying with you. And one of the things I notice in a lot of my clients have problems with is they're like, I've been doing this work, and they're resistant to doing more work because they've been doing the work. They're tired of doing the work. I get it. I do. I felt the same way. I felt the same way a few weeks ago, and I've been doing this for years. And I teach people how to do this. It's all right. That's human nature. The problem is when you feeling that way, it's because there are things that aren't totally healed that maybe you've been working on for a while, but you still got some work to do. And that can be tough to hear because you don't, you're like, I thought I healed it, but you still have some work to do. When we start doing this work, especially those of us that are a little bit older, it's like really peeling the layers of a big giant onion, and you're going layer after layer, and you might think, oh, I cleared up guilt, I cleared up self-worthiness, and you dig down a little bit further and there's more. You unearth some more, and it's like, wait a minute, I thought I cleared this up. Now, it might be self-worthiness on a different issue though. It might be stemming from something deeper. It could be the same, and you cleared off the top layer of the self-worthiness, and now you're digging into the deepness of the self-worthiness. There's layers and layers, and we have tons of areas in our physical body that we store these emotions, which cause chronic pain, headaches, tension. I'm a licensed massage therapist in New York City, and one of the things we know for a fact is that we store tension in our bodies, right? I mean, you all feel it, especially here, right? In your neck, your shoulders, your back, lower back pain, legs are tight, arms can be tight, neck, and we tend to hang on to it and squeeze, and you get tension headaches. And we know that stress can cause a ton of physical conditions. Doctors know this. It can cause heart attacks and strokes. I mean, just stress, right? So healing and going deep and just keeping on doing this work is good, not only for that, but each time you dig in, you say, all right, well, I guess there's more to release. You feel better, you feel lighter, you feel happier, and you're really able to have an amazing life and shift into knowing how abundant the universe is and knowing how much joy there is, and relaxing into having this beautiful, beautiful life. So your ego will try to be like, we already did that, we don't need to do this. When that happens, and this is really important to remember because it will happen, again, you know what to say. Thank you, ego, but there's a little bit more. We're going to go through the steps anyway. And you do it. This happened to me the other day. I was doing some journaling. I was in a challenge, a group, and I was doing some journaling, and what came up for me was like, wait a minute, I thought I already worked that out. And I almost let ego come in and be like, I'm making this up. I made that up. But then I realized, no, there's lingering stuff here. I'm going to go with it. Because especially when you're journaling, when something comes up and you write it out or you think it, don't poo-poo it. Don't say, no, I'm just making that up. I forced that out. You want to write it down. You want to go into it because it came up, because it needs to be released, or else it wouldn't have come up. Period. So I went into it and I released it, and it was huge. It was a huge release, and I felt so much better. So much better. So you want to be aware of the triggers. You want to be aware of those little thoughts where your ego's trying to step in and say, oh, wait. And it takes practice to catch them, but the more practice, the more you'll catch them. Another thing I want you to be aware of when doing healing work, especially deep healing work, is when you're healing and you shift something. Let's say we're doing a meditation, and I always tell my clients this, to be aware of this, and you're doing journaling work and you're letting go and shifting through a limiting belief or emotion, we have a tendency to feel really sad afterwards. And it's kind of like, wait a minute, you felt this wave of lightness, you felt the release, you can physically feel it, true. But then the next day or so, you're just sad. Why am I so sad? Well, I'll tell you why. There is a good reason. You're actually mourning, letting go of that. You're mourning the shift and letting go of that limiting thought, belief, and emotion that you've been carrying around with you for so long. It's like a part of you is now gone. It's not a part of you wanted anyway, but now it's gone, and it's like, oh, I don't have that anymore. So you actually start to mourn it. Once you recognize that you're mourning the movement of this, you're able to be like, all right, I'll be sad. Thank you for, I appreciate being sad for letting something that was with me for a long time go, that was a part of me, and I'm letting it go, and I'm okay with it. Once you recognize it, you allow yourself to feel it. It shifts through. It might take a day. It could take 2 days. Depends on where you're at as far as doing this work, because the more you do this kind of work, the quicker things tend to flow through you. At first, it might seem like it takes a day or two, and it might be a little bit harder. But the more you keep going, I promise you, the quicker things go through. So why did I make this video with this information? I'm going to be putting out some meditations. I'm going to be filming a meditation today. I want you to be aware of what could happen. I want people to know that this is the most amazing, healing, wonderful thing you can do for yourself, and to recognize that the more you catch the ego and those fear thoughts and say, not today, I'm good, thank you, the more you're going to be able to shift into really knowing true joy and connecting with your soul. And I think it's really, really important, especially in this day and age. And I believe, there's been such an uprising right now of light workers doing this work, and that's for a reason. It's because it's needed. It's because it's time for all of us to recognize our worth, our value, and our potential to be amazing creators on this planet and on this world, and to start creating and being exactly that, and getting in touch with ourselves, our soul. And that's, you might say, well, I'm me. What are you talking about? Your soul is pure joy and love, and your ego is on top of that, and all these limiting beliefs and all these fear is piled up on top of that. So we gotta cut through all this stuff and shift away and heal and release and let go and feel our feelings instead of stuffing them down. And this is the real way to get in touch with that base and realize, wow, I am an unlimited, eternal being on this planet, having a human experience, and God, universe, whatever you call it, is, supporting me 100% of the way. So I have nothing to fear. And you can live a life waking up happy, going to bed happy, having fun, and being totally abundant and supported throughout your whole life. It's very possible. And it's what you deserve. Because you're you. You don't need any other reason. It's only because you're here. Of course you deserve it. So we're going to do more of this kind of work on my YouTube channel. We're going to do more of this kind of work in my group, Body and Soul Angels, on Facebook. We're going to do more of this kind of work in my Instagram. And if you want to work with me, see I'm listing my my links and all that, and contact info on the YouTube channel. And I love you so much. I appreciate you. I am so grateful for you being here watching this, because just you watching this is you wanting to take those steps to heal and have a happy, joyful, abundant life. And I'm so excited for you.